These days, you look at a modern AAA title. The graphics are incredible, sure. The production values are through the roof. You look at these stunning photorealistic worlds and massive productions, and they're incredible. But sometimes they lack a certain kind of ingenuity. And that's when I find myself going back to these older titles that were built with so many limitations, technical, financial, you name it. But because of those limits, they had to get creative. So as always, I'm Daniel, and today, 10 old games that put modern AAA titles to shame.
So starting off at number 10 is Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Man, what a game. The setup is it's so perfectly cyberpunk. You play as Adam Jensen, an ex-cop who's the head of security for a massive biotech company. And on the eve of a huge breakthrough, your facility is attacked, your ex-girlfriend is supposedly killed, and you're basically torn to shreds. You only survive because your company rebuilds you, turning you into this incredibly advanced augmented cyborg. And you never asked for any of it. From there, you're thrown headfirst into this global conspiracy, trying to figure out who was behind the attack and why. But the real magic of Human Revolution, the thing that so many modern games just don't seem to have the patience for, is its absolute commitment to player choice. And I don't mean choosing a dialogue option that gives you +5 good guy points. I mean real, meaningful, gameplay-altering choice. Every single mission area is like a complex sandbox. Do you want to go in guns blazing? You can. The cover-based shooting it's fine, it works. But maybe you want to be a ghost. You can spend an hour crawling through vents, hacking keypads, reading emails to find alternate routes, and just systematically taking everyone down with non-lethal attacks. The level design allows for that. It encourages it. And then you have the social element. Man, there are literal social boss battles where you have to analyze the character's personality and use the right augmentations to persuade them. It's not just about picking the right option, it's about reading a person. Now, I have to talk about the director's cut, because in the original release, the boss fights were awful. They completely betrayed the game's core philosophy by forcing you into combat. But the director's cut fixed that, redesigning the arenas to give you ways to use stealth or hacking to win. That version, it's the definitive way to play. It's a game with a vision, a world that feels so dense and full of secrets, and it respects your intelligence to figure things out on your own.
At number 9 is Fallout 2. Now, this is an old isometric CRPG, and you're the Chosen One, a direct descendant of the original Fallout protagonist. Your village, Arroyo, is withering away from a terrible drought, and the elders send you out into the wasteland to find a GECK, a Garden of Eden creation kit. Basically a terraforming device that's the only thing that can save your people. And that's it. That's your motivation. The game just throws you out into this insane, brutal world and says, good luck. The reason Fallout 2 is on this list is a word that I think modern developers are, frankly, terrified of. Freedom! There are no glowing quest markers here, no magic GPS. You get a rumor about a city to the south, you open your map, and you start walking south. You have to talk to people, read terminal entries, and actually use your brain to figure out where to go next. And your character build, it actually matters in a way that most modern RPGs just can't replicate. If you make a character with super low intelligence, you can't have normal conversations. Your dialogue options become stuff like meep or just grunting. The entire game changes. People react to you completely differently. It's not just a debuff, it's a genuine alternate way to roleplay. The sheer reactivity of the world is staggering. Your actions have permanent, sometimes devastating consequences. You can accidentally doom a town or bring it to a golden age, all based on a series of seemingly small choices. It's filled with this incredibly dark, satirical humor that I think a lot of big studios would be too scared to even attempt today. At number 8 is Rise, Son of Rome. So first, the premise is simple and classic. You're Marius Titus, a Roman soldier whose family is brutally murdered by barbarians right in front of you. You join the 14th Legion, fueled by nothing but pure, unfiltered vengeance, and you climb the ranks, cutting a bloody path from the misty shores of Britannia all the way back to the heart of Rome itself. It's a straightforward, epic revenge tale. But here's the thing. This game was made by Crytek. It came out in 2013, and it is, without exaggeration, still one of the most graphically impressive games you can play. The detail on the armor, the facial animations, the way rain slicks off your shield, the sheer scale of the battles, it's staggering. It puts some games released in the last year to shame, honestly. And that's because it represents something we've started to lose. The focused, high-budget, linear blockbuster. This isn't a 100-hour open world with crafting and a million map icons. It's an 8-hour cinematic freight train of pure spectacle. It knows exactly what it wants to be, and it pours every single drop of its budget into making those 8 hours look and feel incredible. And the combat? Look, it is simple. It's rhythmic. It's about timing your blocks, breaking guards, and then getting into these executions. But people misunderstood the executions. They aren't QTEs where you fail if you press the wrong button. You can't fail them. They're stylistic finishers. Hitting the right color-coded button just gives you a specific buff, like health or focus. It's a system designed to keep the flow going, to make you feel like an absolute unstoppable legionary. The weight of slamming your shield into a guy's face and the brutal choreography of the finishers it's immensely satisfying. It's a game that had a singular vision, to be the most cinematic, brutal Roman action movie you could possibly play. And it absolutely succeeded. It's a reminder that sometimes focus is better than sprawl.
So next up at number 7 is Crysis. If Rise was Crytek showing off what they could do with a cinematic linear experience, Crysis was them creating a legend. The premise is pure, distilled 2007 action. You're a US Spec Ops soldier named Nomad, kitted out with this experimental nanosuit. Your team gets sent to an island chain to rescue a team of archaeologists captured by the North Korean army. So you drop in, ready for a fight, and then the entire island flash freezes, and it turns out the thing the archaeologists found was a massive buried alien ship. And the core of it all, it's the nanosuit. This is where the game puts almost everything else to shame. It's a system that gives you 4 incredible powers: armor, speed, strength, and cloak. And the game it sets you loose in this massive jungled sandbox and lets you figure it out. There are no pre-baked solutions here. You see a KPA outpost in the distance. What do you do? You've got so many options. And even the game's physics weren't just for show. You could shoot down trees to create new cover. The environment was a weapon. For years, the meme was, can it run Crysis? Because it was so far ahead of its time graphically that it would melt PCs. And yeah, it was a tech showcase, but people forget that the tech served the gameplay. It created a level of emergent tactical freedom that, honestly, very few shooters have ever managed to top. It gave you the tools, gave you a playground, and trusted you to be creative. It's a masterpiece of sandbox design.
And number 6 is Uncharted 2: Among Thieves. So, in Among Thieves, you're back in the boots of the wisecracking treasure hunter, Nathan Drake, and this time you get pulled into a search for Marco Polo's lost fleet and, ultimately, the mythical city of Shambhala and the Centomany Stone. It's this high-stakes, globe-trotting race against a brutal Serbian warlord and his private army. Simple setup, epic execution. The reason this game is a masterpiece is one word: pacing. Naughty Dog achieved this perfect, almost rhythmic flow between quiet exploration, clever puzzle solving, and absolutely explosive third-person shooting. There is zero fat on this game. It is a perfectly calibrated roller coaster from beginning to end. And the set pieces? The train level? I mean, come on! It's legendary for a reason. You're not watching a cutscene of a chaotic train battle. You are in it! You're climbing from car to car, fighting guys while a helicopter is strafing you, and then the whole thing derails and you have to climb the wreckage as it's dangling over a snowy cliff. It's one of the most iconic sequences in gaming history, and it's fully playable. The level where the building in Nepal is collapsing around you as you fight your way through it with Chloe, that's the key. Modern games have spectacle, sure, but Uncharted 2 made the spectacle the gameplay. You were always in control. And on top of all that, the writing and the characters they were miles ahead of everything else at the time. The banter between Nate, Elena, and Chloe feels so natural and genuinely funny. This was Naughty Dog just operating on a completely different plane of existence back in 2009. They didn't just perfect the formula from the first game, they set the blueprint for what a cinematic action-adventure game should be for the entire next generation. It's damn near perfect.
At number 5 is Driver San Francisco. Now, this game is brilliant. You're back as Detective John Tanner, and right at the start of the game, you're in a massive crash while chasing your nemesis, Jericho. You get put into a coma, and the entire game, like 99% of it, takes place inside your coma dream. And because you're in a coma, you get this absolutely genius mechanic called shift. At any point, you can press a button and your consciousness just launches out of your car. You're floating above the city, looking down at all the traffic in real time, and you can just dive down and instantly possess any other car. Any one of them. A muscle car, a semi-truck, a little compact, it doesn't matter. And this isn't just a gimmick for getting a new car when you've wrecked yours. The entire game, every mission is built around this mechanic. You need to take down a fleeing criminal? Okay, shift into an 18-wheeler in the oncoming lane and hit him head on. You're falling behind in a race? No problem. Just shift into the car in front of the leader to block him, then shift back into your race car once you've got up. It completely redefines what a driving game can be. It stops being just about your own driving skill and becomes this fast-paced, on-the-fly puzzle. You're not just a driver, you're a poltergeist with a badge. The game is it's pure, unadulterated fun. It's all driving all the time. No getting out of the car, no filler. This is the kind of high-concept, creative risk that I just don't think a big studio would take on a driving game today. It's a bit of a cult classic now, made by Ubisoft Reflections, and it's a shame that it's so hard to buy digitally these days because of all the car and music licensing. It's a testament to a time when a AAA game could be this creative, this focused, and this wonderfully strange. So at number 4 is Dead Space. This is a pure sci-fi horror perfection, where you play as Isaac Clarke. And the most important thing to know about Isaac is that he isn't a soldier. He's an engineer. You're part of a small crew sent to answer a distress call from a massive mining vessel, the USG Ishimura, a planet cracker they call it. You get there and the ship is it's a floating tomb. It's dark, it's silent, and then it's not. The crew has been slaughtered and reanimated into these horrifying creatures called necromorphs, and you're not there to fight a war. You're just the guy who's there to fix the comms ray. Bad luck. Dead Space is a complete subversion of your shooter instincts. In every other game, you aim for the head. It's muscle memory. Dead Space throws that right out the window. Headshots barely do anything. The only way to put these things down is strategic dismemberment. You have to slice off their limbs. Your main weapon, the plasma cutter, isn't a machine gun. It's a tool. It fires a line of energy that you can rotate. You have to stay calm under pressure, aim for a leg to slow them down, then maybe an arm to stop them from swinging at you. It turns every single encounter into this frantic tactical puzzle while you're about to have a heart attack. In the atmosphere, it is suffocating. The sound design is the star of the show. The Ishimura is constantly groaning, creaking. You'll hear a sound and a vent behind you, you whip around, nothing's there, but then the thing you were worried about drops from the ceiling right in front of you. It's constantly playing with you, building a sense of paranoia that very few games have ever managed to achieve. On top of all that, there's no HUD. Your health bar, it's literally a glowing tube on the spine of your suit. Your ammo count? A little hologram that pops up from your weapon. Everything is built into the world to keep you completely immersed in the nightmare. It's a masterclass in focused, terrifying design.
And number 3 is Vanquish. So Vanquish has got this gloriously over-the-top setup where you play as Sam Gideon, a government agent with this insane experimental battle suit called the ARS. A rogue Russian faction has hijacked a massive orbital microwave cannon, and they've already used it to cook San Francisco. Now they're threatening to do the same to New York unless the US surrenders. So your mission is to get on that space station and stop them. It's pure, unapologetic sci-fi action movie stuff, but the plot is just the excuse. This game is from Platinum Games, directed by the mind behind Resident Evil 4. And Vanquish is what happens when you take the DNA of a third-person shooter and inject it with the pure, unfiltered adrenaline of a character action game. The entire experience revolves around the suit. You have a rocket slide. I don't think you understand. You press a button, and you just fly across the floor on your knees at 1,000,000 miles an hour, guns blazing. And then you have the slow motion. Anytime you do a dodge or slide, you can aim and trigger this AR mode, which is basically bullet time on a cocktail of energy drinks and lightning. The entire combat loop is this ballet of utter chaos. You rocket slide from one piece of cover to the next, backflip over a shower of missiles, which triggers slow-mo, letting you pick off 3 robots with perfect headshots in midair, land, and then slide into another enemy to deliver a melee attack. It is relentless. It is pure sensory overload in the best possible way. There is zero fat on this game. It's about 5, maybe 6 hours long, no collectibles for the sake of it, no open world to pad it out. It is a shot of pure, uncut video game. It respects your time by ensuring that every single second you are playing, something awesome is happening. It's a game with one idea: being the fastest, most stylish shooter ever made, and it focuses on that with a singular, brilliant vision. It's a cult classic for a reason, and honestly, it makes a lot of modern shooters feel like they're wading through mud.
At number 2 is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. So, you are Sam Fisher, a ghost, the lead field operative for the NSA's most secret subdivision, Third Echelon, and the world is on the brink of a new kind of war, an information war. Tensions are flaring up in Asia, and you're the scalpel that gets sent into the shadows to cut the wires before everything explodes. And that's the key word right there. Shadows. Chaos Theory is arguably the last purest form of the AAA stealth game. Modern games have stealth sections. Chaos Theory is stealth. Light and shadow aren't just a mechanic, they are the entire game. You live in the dark. You are constantly watching the light meter on your HUD, because if it's full, you're dead. It's that simple. The level design is it's breathtakingly good. Each mission is a massive, intricate sandbox filled with dozens of different ways to proceed. You're not just looking for the one designated stealth path, you are making your own. You see a guarded hallway? Okay. Or you can climb a pipe on the wall, shimmy across the ceiling, cut open a fabric canopy, and drop down silently behind everyone. The game doesn't tell you to do that, it builds a world where that is possible and trusts you to find it. It's a game that gives you complete freedom of approach. You could be a panther, taking out enemies silently and efficiently. Or you can be a true ghost, finishing entire levels without touching a single soul, leaving no trace you were ever there. That's a level of player agency that many modern games they're too afraid to offer. They're scared you'll get stuck. Chaos Theory isn't. It respects your intelligence. And I have to talk about the atmosphere. The iconic voice of Michael Ironside as Sam Fisher, with his dry, dark humor during interrogations, it's legendary. It's a slow, methodical, and incredibly tense masterpiece. It is the absolute pinnacle of the stealth genre, and it represents a kind of patient, intelligent design that feels like a lost art form.
And finally, at number 1 is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Look, there are games that are great, there are games that are influential, and then there are games like this. Games that are just perfect. A perfect fusion of story, gameplay, and art direction. You play as the prince, and at the start, he's kind of a cocky, arrogant kid. In the process of helping his father conquer a kingdom, he's tricked into unleashing the Sands of Time from a mystical dagger. The sands are a plague. They turn everyone in his father's palace into twisted, sand-wielding monsters. Everyone except for him, the mysterious Princess Farah, and the villain who tricked him. So the prince has to team up with the very person whose home he just helped destroy to try and clean up the cataclysmic mess he made. But the gameplay is where this game became a legend. It's all built around the Dagger of Time. And this one mechanic, it's one of the most brilliant ideas in the history of gaming. At any point, you can hold a button and rewind time a few seconds. Did you miss a jump? Just rewind it and try it again. Did you get hit by a trap? Rewind it. It completely reframed failure. It wasn't a punishment anymore, it was a learning tool. The game wanted you to experiment, to try that risky wall run, to leap for that seemingly impossible ledge, because it knew the frustration was gone. There were no loading screens, no being sent back 5 minutes, just a quick rewind and you're back in the action. And because of that safety net, you could fully embrace the platforming. It's not just jumping, it's this fluid, acrobatic dance. You're running along walls, swinging from poles, climbing pillars, vaulting off enemies. It's all seamless. The controls are so tight, so responsive. It's a game about flow, about this constant, graceful forward momentum. Even the story is told perfectly. The entire game is the prince narrating his adventure, and if you die and you're out of sand, he says, "No, that's not how it happened," before the screen fades to black. It's genius. There is no fat on this game. It's a perfectly contained 10-hour adventure with a great story, a real character arc, and a central mechanic that was so good it defined a generation of action games. It is the absolute pinnacle of focused, creative AAA design. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and also turn on the notification. Lastly, don't forget to drink water and get some sun. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.